What if you started a drug business? Not in a movie, not in a fantasy, but right here, right now. What would it look like? How much could you make? And how long before it all comes crashing down? This isn't a tutorial. This isn't advice. This is a breakdown of the most dangerous business in the world. Let's start with a story. Meet Aiden, a 21-year-old college student, smart, focused, but broke. Student loans piling up, rent due, family barely holding on. One night at a party, a friend offers him a business opportunity. Aiden listens. It sounds insane at first, buying and flipping pills, but then he sees the numbers. One bottle of Adderall bought illegally for $150 could sell for over $800 on campus. In a week, he's making more than his part-time job pays in a month. 1 week turns into 1 month, one pill into 100, and just like that, Aiden becomes this small-time dealer. Here's how the drug business actually works. Like any business, it has a structure. Producers, the farms, labs, and cartels, distributors, smugglers, transporters, and handlers, middlemen, city-based operators and local plugs, retail dealers, the ones on the street at parties and colleges. Each level takes a cut. Each level has more to lose. Aiden, he's just entered the bottom level. High risk, low power. But he's smart, and ambition can be dangerous. He moves beyond pills. Next comes cocaine. A gram sells for $100. A kilo can be flipped for $100,000. If Aiden can move just 1 kilo a month after expenses and protection, he could net $70,000 profit monthly. That's almost $1 million a year. So how do real dealers make money? Let's break it down by drug. Cocaine. Buy price per kilo, U.S. wholesale, around $18,000. Sell price per gram, retail, $80 to $120. Revenue per kilo, $100,000. Profit, $70,000 to $80,000. A high-margin product, heavily trafficked by cartels like Sinaloa, run by the infamous El Chapo. El Chapo built tunnels, paid off officials, and moved hundreds of tons of cocaine. At his peak, his cartel made $3 billion a year. But he ended up in a U.S. Supermax prison. Forever. Heroin. Extremely addictive. Sourced mainly from Afghanistan, Myanmar, Mexico. 1 kilo equals 1,000 bags of heroin. Retail, $10 to $30 per bag. Potential profit, $150,000 plus per kilo. But heroin brings violence and overdoses. It's a deadly game, both for users and sellers. Methamphetamine. Cheap to make. Labs can be hidden in houses. 1 pound of meth can sell for $15,000 to $25,000. Profit margins? Insanely high, up to 10x return. But meth dealers are constantly tracked. DEA crackdowns are severe. You're one tip away from a raid. Marijuana. Now partially legal in many states. Street price dropped due to legalization. Profit margins lower, but still used by gangs in illegal states. Before legalization, Pablo Escobar's meddling cartel smuggled weed, cocaine, and more into the U.S. At his peak, Escobar was worth $30 billion. He spent $2,500 a month just on rubber bands wrapped cash. But power made him a target. He was killed by Colombian Special Forces in 1993. Rich, feared, and dead before 45. Back to Aiden. He's now moving multiple types of drugs using secret drop locations and burner phones. He hides his identity. He launders money through fake eBay accounts. His monthly income? $100,000. He drops out of college, buys a sports car, rents a luxury apartment. To his friends, he's making it. But he's also making enemies. He learns about Freeway Rick, a LA drug kingpin. Rick made over $3 million per day in the 1980s. He controlled a vast crack cocaine network in California. But like all empires, he fell. Set up in a sting operation, Rick was sentenced to life in prison. He served 20 years. Today, he speaks against the drug trade. Aiden doesn't listen. He's addicted, not to drugs, but the power. But then it happens. A call. One of his runners is arrested. And that runner flips. The DEA tracks Aiden's safe house, raids his storage unit, finds $400,000 in cash and 5 kilos of cocaine. Aiden is arrested. Let's talk about the consequences. In the US, trafficking just 5 grams of meth can lead to 5+ years in federal prison. Over 500 grams of cocaine, that's 10 years minimum. And the government can seize your bank accounts, cars, properties, even your family's assets if connected. Your life? Gone. Your wealth? Gone. Aiden is sentenced to 15 years. So was it worth it? He made over $1 million in 18 months, but he lost 15 years of freedom. That's $1 million divided by 15 years equals $66,000 a year. Not bad, until you realize he can't spend it. He'll come out a felon. He'll be watched for life. His name is ruined forever. Here's the real truth. Most people who enter the drug business don't get rich. They get caught or killed. According to the DEA, only 1 in 100 major traffickers retire free and wealthy. Over 80% of small-time dealers end up in prison within 5 years. Street dealers earned less than minimum wage after calculating losses, thefts, and arrest. So yes, the money looks fast, but the crash comes faster. There are legal ways to build wealth. Start a business. Invest in yourself. Take risks, but the kind that don't destroy your life. The drug business will always exist, but most who enter it don't leave it. Final thoughts. If you start a drug business, you might earn $10,000 this week, maybe $100,000 this month. But the odds say, you'll lose your money, you'll lose your freedom, and eventually you might lose your life. The drug trade doesn't pay in the end. It only pretends to. So ask yourself, is fast money worth everything else?